so much. So we'll. Okay. Hello, good morning, everybody. I have today a very special guest, but please allow our guest to tell something about himself. Mr. Fahad, your time.
Okay, my name is Fahad Basheer. I did my MBBS from City Medical College in Kerala, which is in South India, and then I did my MD in Physiology, that is from Government TD Medical College, that is in Alappuzha, which is in South India itself. And then I specialized in Chronomedicine, and I'm a fellow of Indian Society of Chronomedicine. And I have published for around 4 books on chronomedicine regarding its application of the circadian rhythm in for nurses, for wellness professionals, and for doctors, and for school, for helping late chronotype students to manage how to adjust with their timing and performing well in the school. And and I have an online platform currently, which I'm planning to start as an offline platform for helping giving awareness on night shift work and promoting circadian wellness courses for wellness professionals, and also chronomedicine basic course for doctors, and also providing cardiometabolic health wellness through chronomedicine principles for normal patients.
Okay, it's very interesting. Thank you. But for me, always the very important question is motivation and inspiration. How was your pathway? How did you find out that chronomedicine is something that you should follow and enter into with your full practice? How did it start?
One of the things is that I have a personal story and academic story. First of all, my personal story is that I'm a person I have a little higher range of BMI, and my sleep is always irregular. Because I live in a government setup here in India. It is a third world country, so a lot of facilities are lacking. So we have a problem with mosquitoes. We have problem with electricity. So what we happen is my sleep used to be disturbed all the time, and whatever methods I try to control my diet. I can try to do for exercise, but I have little performance, like little improvement in the BMI, little improvement in the weight. So I started exploring why this happens to me, and that led to an exploration of a field known as chronomedicine. Actually, this was very popular in North India by Professor Narsingh Verma. He is actually the father of Indian chronomedicine. He actually is an MD Physiology of KGMU, King George Medical University. He runs the society, and I happened to see his videos and the society's videos. So I came to understanding that optimizing sleep is very important to regulate the weight and regulate other metabolism of the body. So till now, I'm on the process, and I'm also taking medication for my other health issues, which is a bit like causing an impaired glucose tolerance. So so I have a lot of factors that affect my metabolism. So I started learning, and I started using time restricted eating. And I just lost 5 kilos in 1.5 months. So I found that even if we use some principles, not it is impossible to live a life with a full circadian optimization in modern day world, because we are always exposed to screen lights, we are always exposed to artificial lights, and we have 24-hour availability of the food. Not like in the past, the humans used to have or only in the photo period, that is from sunrise to sunset, they used to have food, but now we have 24-hour food. So I just focused on one thing, that is on feeding pattern, and I have a drastic improvement in my weight, that I reduced about 5 kgs from within just 1.5 months. So that is one. I did a bit of carbohydrate cut, but I combined it with calorie restriction. I combined it with the time restricted eating, and it gave me a good result till now. But still now I'm living in a government setup in a hospital. I have a lot of mosquito problems here. Still my sleep is irregular, but just by optimizing the diet, temperature eating, I have a good improvement.
Well, so it's very interesting. So there's always some kind of a personal story behind. Listen, if you could please kindly explain to my patients, to the viewers of that talk, what actually chronomedicine is about. What kind of medicine is chronomedicine?
Okay, so before coming into the chronomedicine, first I would like to say is that we have a circadian rhythm. We have a 24-hour biological cycle. Our body is not static; it is constantly dynamic. Even the hormone release time has a peak time and has a low time, and even our digestion has a peak time. Digestion has a low time. Even our platelet aggregation has a high time, it has a low time. BP has a high time and it has a low time. Cardiac activity has a low high time and low time. So it fluctuates depending on a 24-hour cycle. And that fluctuation is fluctuating biological rhythms are called circadian rhythm. And it is governed by the rotation of the earth on its axis. So with each rotation, like when the sun rises, the light enters through the retina. It goes through the retina hypothalamic tract and reaches the suprachiasmatic nuclei of the master clock. And from there, it goes to the hypothalamic neurons and it releases the cortisols in the day. And these released cortisols makes us active and alert by acting on the prefrontal cortex. So and this rise of cortisol is called cortisol awakening response that happens between 30 day, within 30 minutes. So there is also one surprising fact is that we have a biological mechanism to anticipate for this alertness, so that this cortisol awakening response is more on work days compared to weekends. So since we are trained to go to work on work days, our cortisol awakening response is very high during the work days. But on the weekends, we are resting mode. So there is a little bit drop in the cortisol. But in the night time, when there is absence of sunlight, what happens is that the melatonin is produced, and melatonin actually reduces the body temperature, core body temperature, and it facilitates sleep. So it is a biological mechanism that we have to be alert and workful at daytime, and we have to be restful at sleep time. During the night time. So coming to the circadian rhythm, it is actually controlled by a clock. We have a clock genes and clock proteins. And this clock, we have two major clocks in the body. First one is master clock, which is the suprachiasmatic nuclei, which is located in the brain. It is entrained to the light. It is entrained in the sense light is considered as the gibbers. In German language, it means time givers. So whenever the light is exposed, and whenever light is absent, whenever it is entraining the biological clock. So for example, when there is light, cortisol is produced. When there is no light, melatonin is produced. So it is how it is controlling. So the cortisol makes the body alert, makes the metabolism ready for the day, and the melatonin suppresses the metabolism, and it makes ready for the night. So this is the natural mechanism done by the master clock. And then we got peripheral clocks, and the peripheral clocks are located in almost every cells except in stem cells and anucleated cells. But peripheral cells in also we have made regarding concerned with metabolism. We have peripheral clocks inside the liver, inside the gut, inside the pancreas, inside the kidney. So all major organs have their own core clocks and circadian control genes. I will tell about the peripheral clocks, and peripheral clocks can work independent of suprachiasmatic, that is master clock. They have an autonomous pattern, and they are particularly regulated by the meal timing. That is the meal timings. That is, we must take the meals in the photo period. That is, we have to align our food timing with the light time. Whenever we align our meal time with the light time, that is corresponding to the suprachiasmatic nuclei, we say that the peripheral clock is aligned with the central clock. So whenever we take food in the night time, we will say it is not aligned with the central clock. So not aligning within the photo period will actually disrupt the metabolism. It will cause impaired glucose tolerance. It will cause insulin resistance. It will increase cardiovascular risk and mortality. So it also increases obesity. So these are the things that happens when we take meal at the wrong time. And this taking the food within the photo period time is called is the perfect alignment between the central clock and the peripheral clock. And there is another clock. So food is considered as a zigzibber, non-photic zigzibber that controls the peripheral clocks in the abdominal organs. And the other zigzibber is exercise, movement. We got a sleep wake cycle, we got a light dark cycle, we got a feeding fasting cycle, and then we got a rest activity cycle. And the past men used to be active in the day and used to rest in the night. But now, due to 24-hour shift, 24 by 7 economy, what have happened is that especially the doctors, nurses, IT professionals, policemen, everyone has to work in the night. So that because the demand is high to solve the problems of the people and the patients, we have to work 24/7 work. So what it causes is that we feed during the night instead of feeding during the day. We become active in the night instead of being active in the day. We exposed ourselves to the light in the night instead of becoming active during instead of being exposed in the day. So and instead of being sleeping during the night, we are being awake on the night. So our sleep wake cycle, fasting feeding cycle, rest activity cycle, light dark cycle, everything is impaired. So when everything is impaired, it leads to circadian disruption. It leads to misalignment between the central clock and peripheral clock. It will lead to cardiometabolic consequences. So this is the in short what the circadian rhythm and how the clocks, the central clock and biological clocks are controlling our system.
Wow, it sounds really amazing. And actually, when I am listening to that, please correct me if I am wrong. But right now, we are wondering why we have such high peak in cardiovascular diseases, such a high peak in obesity, and so on and so forth. I mean, civilization is in great progress. Everything is improved, actually, but still we have a substantial rise in all those diseases. What comes to my mind is what you told a moment ago that yes, right now we work 24/7. We have absolutely no respect to the circadian rhythms. So we work at night. Yes, we are exposed at that light. So probably it's one of the important factors that contributes to the horizon of all the diseases that we have right now. But as you mentioned circadian rhythms, what comes to my mind, it's our very common experience that we have people who are so-called larks and people who are so-called owls. Could you please make some comments on that, how we can help our patients, let's say, to diagnose who they are and how they can adjust the lifestyle to that specific pattern? And do you think that it can be somehow applied to the broader field? I mean, of work medicine, for example. Do you think that it would make sense to diagnose people, whether they are owls, larks, and so on, depending on the kind of the profession that they do? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, that is a very interesting question. So I will answer that. So we have three types of chronotype. We shorten it. We have different variations of chronotype, like extreme morning type, moderately morning type, mild morning type. So, but I will reduce that into three major categories. One is morning chronotype and intermediate chronotype. Then we got late chronotype. So morning chronotype people, these chronotype are genetically determined. It is not an environmentally confined. It is not an environmental issue. It is genetically confined. So some people, so there is an evolutionary theory. What it says is that the morning type people used to go to hunt. The nighttime people used to stay awake, protecting the people. But like the nighttime people, night chronotype people tend to be more creative. They have got many psychological constructs that are very different from the morning type. And morning type people tend to be conscientious people. They have a work-life balance. They have a proper work-life balance, and they go to work and they do hard work. But the other, all those kind of imaginations, new imagination, new business ideas, everything comes from the mind of night type chronotypes. But the thing is that the risk for cardiometabolic risk is more for night chronotype because they are actually causing circadian misalignment. But the risk for cardiometabolic risk for the morning chronotype is generally less, even though it exists, but it is generally less. And then we got an intermediate chronotype that can perfectly adjust to the morning type, morning situation and evening situation. Having said that, how we can optimize the cycle, according to chronotype is still being explored in chronomedicine. But I can say you like in order to, if a morning type people like they wake up early and they feel they go to bed early. So if what the problem faced by a morning chronotype people is that if they have a business work, if they are employed in a business work for night duties, they will not perform well and they will have a series of cardiometabolic issues if they are forced to work against the clock, especially because their genetics doesn't support them to work in a like in the night time for a morning type people. They feel sleepy, and if it is a nurse, she will make improper injections. It is more likely to make an error. If she drive away from hospital to the clinic or home, she is more likely to have an accident because the sleep pressure is very high. It affects the morning chronotype people cannot adjust well to the evening schedule, and evening chronotype people cannot adjust to the morning schedules. So if the work is like demanding, so if for evening chronotype people, they sleep late and they wake up late. So if a person sleep at 2 p.m., 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., he is supposed to wake up. For an adult, he is supposed to wake at around 11 a.m. 11 a.m. So what happens is that he has to go for work at 8 a.m. So when he reaches the workplace, he will be sleepy because his sleep is not fulfilled. So we can have light therapies for this, and we usually say for morning chronotype people, if they want to work if they want to adjust well into a night environment, he have to expose sunlight he have to expose to the bright light therapy in the evening, and he has to stay away from light exposure during the morning, because whenever the light is exposed in the evening, it will delay the phase. And evening chronotype delay the phase means that he will have more time to stay awake. And like for a night type people, if they want to go for morning schedules, he have to reduce light time exposure during the night, and he have to expose himself to the bright light therapy in the morning. So this is how we use the dark cycle light therapies to adjust, to align their circadian rhythm for the demanding work pressure. But basically, when I say actually the morning chronotype should live as a morning chronotype people, and evening chronotype should live as evening chronotype people. But our man-made policies and man-made constructs has made a situation that the morning type chronotype is forced to work in a night type environment, and evening chronotype people is forced to work in a morning environment. So whenever they live in their own chronotype, it is actually fine. But even though they have their own risk. But whenever they are forced to live in a phase which is against their chronotype, it causes a much amount of circadian disruption. So this is one solution. And then regarding to the meal time, how to align with the meal time is that we have a study recently, about 4 or 5 days back, American Heart Association has released a official statement on circadian health, circadian applications for the cardiac patients. So they have actually said like skipping breakfast actually increases the cardiovascular risk. It increases the obesity and increases the diabetes, impaired glucose tolerance. But at the same time, late night eating, that is eating towards the night after the photo period, if you're eating, that is ideally it is said you have to take breakfast within 1 hour of waking, and you have to finish your dinner 3 hours before the sleep. So and whenever you finish or whenever you start, it should be in the photo period. So late chronotype people, what they do is that for a morning chronotype people, it is very easy to follow a time restricted eating. And for intermediate type people, it is again easy to follow. But for a late chronotype people, they wake up at 11 a.m. and they might skip their breakfast. And breakfast skipping is very common. And their time, and it is also said that the meal timing should be regular. If you take breakfast today at 7 a.m., you have to take breakfast next day at 7 a.m. and you have to take the next day at 7 a.m. So meal timing is also regular. And if it is not regular, it is called eating jet lag. So there is a jet lag. We say that eating jet lag in the context of like if you're taking food on routinely on same time during the weekdays, but on the weekend you sleep in the Saturday night, you go party, and after the party you wake up very late, and it causes a condition on a social jet lag. And social jet lag is the mid-sleep point between the wake-up time and the sleeping time. And we compare it with the work days, during the work days and during the weekends. And if there is more than 2 hours of difference between the mid-sleep point between these 2 points, we say that the person is going to have a social jet lag. And it is most commonly due to, I think in the Western culture, it is most usually due to partying, Saturday night party. But it is also there in India too. We also see, especially in urban cities, but not much in the rural cities. So what will happen when there is more than 2 hours, it leads to increase in chances for obesity. And you can see that heart attack cases are more on the Mondays, because the social jet lag is more on the Saturday night after Sunday, and the peaks during the during the Monday morning. So that is one cause. And eating jet lag is same the thing. We take there is a formula for calculating the eating jet lag. Actually, it is comparing the mid-eating point between the breakfast and meal. And if that is different between during the work days and weekend, especially due to partying in the Saturday night or Sunday parties, it can lead to jet lag. And it is found that eating jet lag more than 3.5 hours is correlated with the increased obesity risk. And also irregular mealing time. And even during the weekdays, the meal timing should be regular. If I should take the food as well as I should wake and sleep at the same time during the thing. If we make 1 hour difference to each other, it can also cause a risk for obesity and cardiovascular risk. So this is also one thing. So ideally, we are a peaceful organism in the past. Now we are the most stressed organism in the modern world. So the pattern has changed. For millions of years, humans have evolved to become evolved in a peaceful situation, had a perfect circadian rhythm, had lesser problems. But as the modern world progresses, it is getting more complicated. Our circadian rhythm is more disrupted, and we are having more cardiometabolic issues. So this is how we regulate with the meal time. And we must take, so according to the chronotype, how to assess the time the meal, it has not yet been formulated, but we have as a theoretical assumption that early morning we have to take within the photo period of time. Evening chronotype should finish by 7 p.m. In the evening, even though if it starts late. And time restricted eating is about fast feeding through in the photo period and fasting in the night. So we are resting the metabolism, digestive systems, peripheral clocks in the night, and we are activating the peripheral clocks during the day. If you do ulta, or if you do flip it, like what we see in night shift workers or partying, it can lead to what we call known as circadian disruption. And regarding, we have also options for exercise, but exercise is well studied compared to chronotype adjustment for morning type or evening type. Actually, the morning type people and evening type people are very less compared to intermediate population. Intermediate population is the largest population. And if you want to personalize, we have an MCTQ questionnaire created by Till Roenberg, and then we got MEQ questionnaire. These are the 2 questionnaires that we use to assess the chronotype at the level it is the most inexpensive and easy way to find the chronotype. But ideally, for biologically confirming, we had to do a DLMO testing and core body temperature. These are very expensive, and these are not available in all countries. So, and that is not feasible to test each and every patient, and each and every patient cannot afford that these testing. So the most easiest way is to do this psychometric testing to find out which population, to which category they belong. So regarding the exercise timing, we usually say that aerobic exercises are better in the morning for weight loss, because we tend to be in a fasting state throughout the whole night, and glycogen is being depleted, and then we do exercise. And when we do exercise, we actually recommend them to do in the sunlight. So we can combine both the GBs together to give a good circadian boost. And so this aids in weight loss. But for cardiovascular fitness, we say the strength training, it is best, resistance training, it is best in the evening. This is in context of saying, in context of which, for weight loss, it is aerobic exercise in the morning. But for cardiovascular fitness, it is in the evening time. But according to chronotype, we can actually delay or advance the phase of sleep using exercise. So for a morning chronotype, if he do exercise in the morning, his phase is advanced. That means he will sleep earlier than usual. If the morning chronotype is forced to exercise in the evening, that will cause a delay in the exercise. So if we want to make a morning type paper adjust to the evening work situation, we will tell him to get exposed to the bright light therapy in the evening and do some exercise. So this is what we do. So for an evening chronotype, if we want to, if we do in the morning, it will cause phase advance. And if we do in the night also, it will cause phase advance. It will not cause any phase delay. So this is in context of the exercise with respect to the chronotype. So, and then we recommend CBTI, that is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. We actually advises that is like having a warm shower before sleep, setting up a AC to cold temperature, like keeping away the mobile phones. Even the EMF, electromagnetic field from the phone, can actually disrupt the circadian rhythm in preclinical studies, but not proven in clinical studies. So we tell to keep it away from them, and we give this sleep hygiene advices. And then I have covered light, nutrition, and exercise. So these are the methodologies that we give. And then stress is another factor, but stress is not considered as a judgeber. There is another theory known as social judgeber theory. So social judgeber theory says that socialization is also a form of judgeber. So socialization, like we tend to socialize during the daytime, and we tend to be solitude in the nighttime. This is the humans that were during the past. But now we tend to socialize during the day as well as
I'm sorry, let's wait for a moment because there is something with the connection.
this is one of the problem, and the main problem what this work now.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. There was a short problem with the internet connection. Okay, right now I can see you and I can hear you. Could you please repeat just the last sentence?
Okay, coming to the social judgeber theory. Social judgeber theory states that we have to be socialized during the day, and then and then there is a rhythmic pattern. If we have a social rhythmic pattern, it will harmonize the biological rhythm. And when the biological rhythm is harmonized, the metabolism will be correct and the mood will be correct. It is in social judgeber theory is considered with respect in the context of mood. But I will tell you what happens is that whenever we go, like we have an irregular social rhythm, that is, whenever we are affected by stress is a circadian disruptor. So whenever we are affected by stress, our cell rhythm is imbalanced. We may not socialize enough. We won't eat food at time. We won't go outside for sunlight exposure. We won't exercise. We won't have a good night's sleep. So whenever the social rhythm is affected, the biological rhythm is also affected. Whenever the biological rhythm is affected, our mood and our metabolism is also affected. So socialization solitude is also there is no particular name for it, but I'm saying we could actually term like socialization solitude phase cycle also. Being solitude during the night and being socializing during the day. Instead of socializing the night and causing social jet lag and eating jet lag, we can socialize in the morning, and then so the rhythm is harmonized and we can rest. It is actually the resting phase. So these are the factors that how we can harmonize our circadian rhythm according to the chronotype.
Well, it's really very interesting and it's mind-opening, eyes-opening. Listen, at the very end, I mean, if you could just give us a couple of, let's say, simple tips and tricks, especially for cardiovascular patients, on how they can improve their prognosis, for example, if they are after a heart attack or whether they are with congestive heart failure. If you were to, let's say, summarize a couple of short points, what is most important for them in terms of chronomedicine, very simple things that they can do just to improve their cardiovascular health prognosis.
Okay. So for chronomedicine, the mainstay of therapy is chronotherapy. And in the chronotherapy, we got three classification. That is drugging the clock, clocking the drug, and timing the clock. So drugging the clock is that we actually, you know, that circadian rhythm actually got a Nobel Prize for in 2017 by three American scientists for discovering the molecular machinery. So there is a machinery inside the every cell. So this machinery inside the cell is known as core clock genes, and these core clock genes controls the 40% of the function of other genes. That is the circadian genes, circadian control genes. It is called circadian control genes. So what the chronobiologists do is that they knock out. So there are mainly 4 to 6 core clock genes. That is BMAL1 core, BMAL1 clock, and per and cry and raw reverb. So these are the just jargon names. But when what they do is that they knock out these genes and see what happens to the cardiometabolic each genes. Whenever they knock out each genes, they found that around many metabolic pathways is altered inside a cell. So they take that is different. A cardiometabolic metabolic pathway in the liver might not be the same as that of pancreas. It might not be as same as the, each organ have a different kind of metabolic pathway. So like whenever we knock out each genes from that, it forms it seems to affect 40% of the function of the other genes. So this is one. So having said that, we can actually develop certain drugs to actually control the core clock genes, but there are compounds, but these compounds are not available in the market. So still, it is in clinical trials and it is in it is only confined to research paper. So there is no drug and there is no scope currently for regarding the drugging the clock. But second thing is the clocking the drug. Clocking the drug is means that it is that we study the circadian rhythmic pattern of BP, circadian rhythmic pattern of the heart rate, sympathetic activating system. So by studying that, we can actually predict what is the peak time and what is the trough time. So by getting the by early morning, there is a cortisol awakening response, and there is a huge rush in the cortisol when exposed to sunlight. And it is at that same time there is sympathetic activity is very high, heart rate is very high, and it is also at the same time where the melatonin is less. Melatonin has an anti-platelet effect. Melatonin is getting down, so the platelet aggregating effect is more during the early morning. So having said that, we have two applications left. We can use and the incidence of cardiac vascular incidents like MI and stroke is more between 6 and 10 a.m. in the morning. So it is the most rush time which the cardiovascular comes to the ICU, like come to the ICU and it comes to the casualty. So so it gives a predict. Even the arterial fibrillations, like rhythmic disorder, cardiac arrhythmic disorders also have the same pattern. And there is also pattern during each season. Some season have more cardiovascular disease in some seasons. Some season cardiovascular diseases are very less. So having said that, coming to the circadian rhythm, like we can target the medication like before the circadian peak. We can actually give the medications, antihypertensive medications before the circadian peak, so that we can control. So there has been studies by the HYGEA trial, and we got time study and MAPEX study. These are the trials that have been conducted in Spain, Canada, and BEDMED study in Canada. But the studies conducted in the Spain actually found that giving nighttime medication actually reduced the incidence of the cardiovascular mortality cases. But the time study and the BEDMED study didn't got such a result. So American Heart Association had to say that there was something problem in the thing, and the power was less in the study in the HYGEA trial. And the European Cardiological Society, they conducted an investigation, and they found no fraud activity in this research. But and there was a problem in randomization. But what then then what the other group of researchers they did was that they did a time sub study. In the time sub study, they actually went out to the patients who participated in the time study. The time study said that there was no correlation, but what they found was that they started using MEQ questionnaire and classified into morning type, evening type, and intermediate type. And they found that when evening type chronotype people was given medication during the night, the morning type incidence of cardiovascular mortality was very less. When morning type people was given antihypertensive medication in the morning, the incidence of the incidence of the cardiovascular mortality was this. And it has got a huge public response and it came across huge medias. And coming to the aspirin, since the platelet activity is in the morning, it is like advisable to use theoretically, not experimentally, because there has not been sufficient evidence. A trial has not been done, but it is theoretically better to give in the night. But aspirin has a long half-life, like more than 10, I think 10 days, like more than 24 hours. So it doesn't follow a circadian rhythmic pattern. If a drug has a 12-hour period, we can say that it is effective to give. For example, in like acidity, it is more in the night than the morning because the parasympathetic activity is more during the night. Even though in normal physiology, the acidity is more in the night and it is lesser in the day. But in duodenal ulcers, we say the whole activities of acidic production is increased, but it is still more towards the night. So pantoprazole drugs have a 24-hour action, but famotidine has a 12-hour action. A study was found whether giving famotidine during night and morning. It was found famotidine giving during the night effectively reduced the nighttime secretion. So we can actually, if we are planning to give aspirin, we can give famotidine and no need to give a 24-hour drug. Instead of pumping out a drug for entering into system for 24 hours and causing its effects, we can minimize the side effects and we can enhance the effects by beneficial effects. So the purpose of the chronomedicine in terms of antihypertensive, even rivaroxaban, it is effective in the night. And even heparin is effective in the night, more commonly effective in the night, because platelet coagulation aggregation is more in the morning. So this is one of the application of the chronomedicine that is in the clocking the drug, like the timing of the antihypertensive according to chronotype is only one thing that is proved by trial. Others are still in like simple studies, simple randomized studies. It has not gone into a trial. But from the randomized studies, it is found that evening aspirin was more effective than morning aspirin. But maybe there may be any other mechanisms that tell us other than the 24-hour action of the drug, why it proves why the evening administration of aspirin is more effective than the morning type. So this is clocking the drug. This is one of the applications in the cardiology. And even when for the wellness purpose, if we can check heart rate variability, the sympathetic activity is more in the day and parasympathetic activity is more in the night. So for a normal person,
yeah, so
yeah,
we are a bit running out of time. I'm sorry, if you don't
okay,
mind, we'll make another meeting. Thank you very much for that actually introduction, because this is introduction to the chronomedicine. If you don't mind, we definitely arrange another meeting to discuss more details. Dr. Fahad, thank you very, very much for your time, for that introduction. I'm really impressed with the chronomedicine you work and the insights that you gave. It was really my pleasure to meet you, to talk to you, and definitely we'll meet another time to discuss more details about medications, because it's really mind-blowing for me.
okay, okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
I'm actually grateful for giving an opportunity. Thank you.
My
I
pleasure,
hope
my
this will help
pleasure.
your patient.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Okay.